Hello everyone and welcome back to another day of TCG PokeDECKS. Now, before we start, if you could leave a like on the video, that would be really awesome so we can get to 100 likes. It really helps out the channel, and if you want to check out our sponsor, ccgcastle.com, to get some Burning Shadows booster boxes. I know all of you are very excited about the new set. Definitely check it out. So yeah, today's entry features Victreebell. Now Victreebell with 140 HP and using Pollen Hazard. That's the idea behind the deck. We want to use Pollen Hazard on turn 1 if possible and deal 20 plus Burn plus Confusion plus Poison. The new Burn rules means Burn is actually decently useful. The second attack is not too great. You do heal. You can maybe make the special conditions stick, and I guess the grass plus DC cost does have some good synergy with the deck. And then besides that, we have a 4-3-3 line of Decidueye in order to increase our damage output. The two heavy stage 2 lines means we can't run a full 4-4-4 Decidueye, but I figured a 4-3-3 would be enough. The rest of the deck is pretty standard as is for the Decidueye decks, except we have an increased amount of grass energy. We're running 6 instead of the usual 4 or 3. And yeah, let's take this deck onto the ladder and see how we do. Now it seems like the ladder has reset now, interestingly enough, and it seems like Volcanions are the prize cards for this. So yeah, we'll see what we can do with this deck. Hopefully we get a good matchup here. And even if we don't win, we get to showcase the deck's capabilities by abusing our Bellsprout. I was just thinking maybe a 4-3-3 line would have been better to make sure that we have the best odds of opening Bellsprout every game. But we'll manage. We will try to manage. Now, Double Mulligan is very strange, as we do have 11 basic Pokemon, and there's the Bellsprout immediately, so that's pretty cool. Tons of energy, which we will very likely lose, as we will have to Shaman or Lele here. One of the two. Lele and Decidueye, of course, are great backup attackers, and we'll see how this goes. Now, my opponent does get the Double Mulligan. There is a Tapu Koko in the active spot. It is a promo. So with that, I think I'm going to end here. Also to get rid of all of my opponent's extra cards. Actually, both of our Shaman EXs are prized. So even if I wanted to use Shaman, I couldn't. And that's something very important to take note of, so that we don't make any plays based on our Shaman EXs. Because there's none. There's none available. There's also an N prize. I didn't check what else, but we know 3 of our 6 prizes. 2 Shaman and 1 N. Not a great follow-up hand. The Trainer's Mail could give us the Stadium, but it actually gives us a Sycamore, so I'll just take it so that I don't top deck another Sycamore. But we will probably end up using N once again next turn, which is not ideal, of course. And this is the one deck that I think is the best counter to ours, because of the fact that my opponent has Tapu Koko to recycle and get rid of the special conditions. So we'll have to see how this goes. There's no Acerola and no Super Scoop Up yet. So if my opponent ends up filling up his bench, we could actually have a better shot here. I think another prize card, no, it's actually not a Grass Energy. And there's an end, so very nice end by my opponent for us. Hopefully we get a decent draw out of it, but our deck is still pretty thick and we could definitely dead draw off of this, as we almost did. We almost dead drew off of this, but we actually did not, thankfully. So no real threat yet of a Tapu Koko. There's also no threat of a Voltorb into Electrode play. So I'm actually just gonna Sycamore here. I'm gonna lose another Grass Energy, which I'm not a fan of. But I really want to get the Victreebell out so that we can feature the card and use it. And there's a Victreebell, awesome. And we also get a Decidueye, so that's pretty cool. That is actually pretty cool. We get to set up both of our stage 2s. We don't have anything afterwards. So hopefully Victreebell is able to apply enough pressure. Now, I have already attached an energy, so I'm gonna pressure the Tapu Koko. However, I feel like that could be wasted damage. Yeah. No, I am going to pressure the Tapu Koko. If he promotes another Tapu Koko, that is completely fine. He shouldn't be able to knock me out. And Pollen Hazard will deal 50 damage at least here, with a potential for 20 more by the end of my opponent's next turn. There's a 20 plus poison plus burn, that's 50. And he does flip heads, so he does remove the burn. He's only confused and poisoned, but only. That's pretty, like, saying he only has 2 special conditions out of the 3. That's pretty good. That is honestly pretty good. There's another energy on the Raikou. You see a Field Blower removing my Stadium. That is completely fine. We have another 2 in our hand. And that means my opponent did not remove a Floatstone. And even then he will be able to, or he will do us the favor of shuffling our hand back in and allowing us to draw a couple extra cards. And off of those cards we do see more Grass Energy. We see the Stadium. However, we have 2 Stadiums to counter with ourselves. And now I can actually take a knockout here. However, if he benches another Tapu Koko and he uses Tapu Thunder, he would knock me out. So, since I really don't want that to happen, I'm just going to Feather Arrow the active once again. That's 100, and then I'm gonna deal another 50 damage. That means that even if he flips heads, even if he plays another Tapu Koko to heal, a single Feather Arrow knocks this Tapu Koko out. He flipped on her head, so no more burn, which means he will survive the turn. Getting the knockouts would have been really, really good. There's the Tapu Koko though. With the shiny Tapu Koko promo, which is perfectly understandable, but now he has no more bench space in order to make up for his like to recycle the. He has no more bench space to recycle the Tapu Koko's ability, so after I poison, burn, and confuse this Tapu Koko, I should be in a pretty good position. And wow, triple elixir off of that Sycamore by my opponent. Now, did he find a Fighting Fury belt? Because if it didn't, he's gonna 2-hit KO my Victreebell. Which honestly seems really bad. And yeah, if he were using his GX attack, he would have taken a knockout on my Victreebell, but so that's why I purposely did not attach an energy the previous turn. And now I'm gonna replace this, and I'm going to try to set up more Decidueyes and definitely another Victreebell to keep annoying my opponents. I have 2 choices here. I can set up a Decidueye, I can play the Trainer's Mail, I can take the 2 prize cards. Yeah, see, the thing is, if I knock out this Tapu Koko, that leaves a spot open for my opponent to play down another Tapu Koko, and that's not something I want to let him do. So, okay, I definitely want to Feather Arrow the active. And I will Pollen Hazard. So once again, if he wants to attack, he has to retreat into the Raikou. And if he doesn't, and well, if he does that, he would lose 2 energy, and I'm purposely not opening up any bench spaces so that he cannot fully heal the Tapu Koko. Now we see his 3rd Ether of Paradise. Ah, he has Max Potion, yikes, against our 3rd Forest. Well, that Max Potion is annoying. That definitely changes a lot of things. He also finds his 4th Seeker. However, he doesn't hit it, thankfully. There's only 6 energy in play, and 1 in the discard, 7. I assume he plays at least 10, if not more, like 12 or so. So finding energy should not be an issue for my opponent. He does decide to promote the CGI, which I am okay with. Is he going to try to attack though? I'd be really surprised. Okay, we see a Fighting Fury Belt on the Tapu Koko. And we see a Tails finally. So he's still burnt, he hit himself in confusion, he gets burn damage. He's now fully healed of the burn. But now we can actually take a knockout, right? And I don't even need to use the field. Well, I do need to use the field lore perhaps. 90 minus 30, that's 60, that's 190, plus 10, that's 200. So yeah, I actually do need to use the field lore I just top decked. But because of that, what I'm going to actually do, or what I would like to do, would be, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna secure the second Decidueye. That way I can double Feather Arrow knock out the active. And I'm going to Sycamore. I know I discarded a DC, which could potentially be very useful. But I feel pretty confident in hitting another one. There it is. And potentially another... potentially a Floatstone. So, and I don't even need to attack. I could definitely use Hollow Hunt easily here. So, I did miss a knockout on the bench Tapu Koko, but I feel like that's fine. We're getting rid of energy, and that's the important thing in the long run. We do get another N and another Lysander. And now, do we go on the offensive, or do we play conservatively and use Hollow Hunt GX? No, I think getting the damage in against this Raikou is actually pretty good. Yeah, that makes sense to me. He might bench another Tapu Koko and absorb the energy, but I would be completely fine with that. Yep, there it is. So he will take a knockout with a GX attack. He will take a knockout with a GX attack. But here's where, once again, we can use Victreebell in order to mess with my opponent's setup. And now we can freely attach energy in order to keep ourselves ahead. So I'm gonna bench the Rowlet, I'm gonna play the Stadium. I'm actually going to attach the DC to Lele. And before Feather Arrow, I'm just going to end here. I want to find another. I want to set up another Victreebell. That's the goal here. So I do find the Weeping Bell. Now I'm only lacking the Victreebell, but for now this should suffice because I will do enough damage where Tapu Lele can confidently finish this Tapu Koko off. And based on what my opponent has, I would say we have a 50% chance of this very same Victreebell surviving. So there's a Tails flip. So we're guaranteed at least 30 more damage. We don't need it, but we're guaranteed at least 30 more damage. If he flips Tails for some reason, he would be up to 130 damage once again, which actually doesn't change anything. We would need the second Decidueye to really take advantage of that, but that's okay. A single Revitalizer could accomplish that, so the Trainer's Mail could be really important here. He definitely doesn't retreat. He definitely has to try to attack here. There's no scenario where my opponent doesn't try to attack here. Okay, so the Fighting Fury Belt does mean Lele will need to come up to finish the job. But that is perfectly fine here because he will get 30 more damage in between turns, so he'll be at 200 or at 100, sorry. And then even if he flips heads right now and removes the burn, I hit for 100, and then in between turns the Koko gets knocked out. So I top deck a very nice Bellsprout, or Weeping Bell rather. of the trainer's mail, I find a Lysander. So I'm gonna keep the Lysander. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to feather arrow this other Coco. And I'm just gonna... See, I could energy drive. I could definitely attach the other TCG. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. My opponent knows I have the Lysander in hand. My opponent does know that. And off of this 4 prizes, we should definitely find one of the Shamans. There's one Shaman and there's the other Shaman, of course. So we have outs in case we do get end. We do have outs in case we do get end. And yeah, there's a rescue stretcher. Getting back another Coco, that is fine. That is why I really like the Lysander. Seems like my opponent is really valuing the 20 damage, which would actually allow me to knock out, right? 140, 160, yeah. So we're gonna be 20 short for now, but this should be good. We really should be good. We see another Sycamore by my opponent, interestingly enough. See, I'll find a few belt. That doesn't change the fact that we're gonna 2-hit KO. Even with the 4 Ether of Paradise, we're gonna 2-hit KO here. And when we hit for 140 minus 30, that's 110 plus the damage from the CGI. Well, actually, that's our last DCE. That is actually our last DCE. So my opponent has shown no indication other than Max Potion to show that he uses any sort of switching cards. If I had an extra energy here, I could go after the Shaman for the win. I think that might still be the correct play. Or I could go after the Tapu Koko. I feel like going after the... It's very unlikely that my opponent plays any DC at all. So after I use Feather Arrow and I use Energy Drive here, Shaman is 10 HP away from getting knocked out. So only a Hex Maniac play saves my opponent. Oh. He does have the Olympia. Wow. Wow. I might actually lose here. Now I need to rely on Victreebell to win the match. And there's the energy, nice. My opponent has only played 2 VS Seekers, okay. So I'm pretty sure all I need to do is get a Victreebell. So off of this Shaman to 5, I have a lot of outs. Oh, actually, Weeping Bell can take the knockout. Weeping Bell can actually take the knockout with Muddy Acid. That's just crazy. When have you seen a Weeping Bell take a knockout? Yeah, that was a pretty entertaining match. That was actually pretty entertaining. And yeah, Victreebell does end up taking the win. Very interesting deck by my opponent as well. Definitely super well built. And yeah, guys, this will conclude the Victreebell entry. Tomorrow we have Tentacruel, and then on Friday we will have a Lowland Golem. I'm really excited to use a Lowland Golem. And yeah, this will be all from me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow for our Tentacruel entry. Bye.